Hey guys, it's time for another episode of There's Something Wrong with That Guy. And today I'm going to be talking about how we're going to take your clay, turn into a pinch pot they're actually going to keep, not just cut in half. Your thumb, put it down in there and pinch, 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 pinch like you did for the last thing. Or I like to do it this way. Okay, pretty good. So, however, if you have a different way of doing it, then we're good to go. So I got my little pinch pot, and it's very even all the way around. And
so that is something that you generally want to do. So I test it, pinch, 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 and I'm feeling. I'm not trying to change the thickness, other than I'm feeling it, so I'm just constantly checking. Whenever I feel in those larger bumps, I give a little pinch.
So now what I want to do is I want to create a little foot for this. And so a little foot, as I do this, just something for it to stand on. Now, not all bowls have a foot, but it's good to learn how to do them. And so here's a little bowl I made. Kind of reminds me of like if you were to turn a brain into a pinch pot. And so it's just a little bowl, and then it has a little foot on it. And we'll get into glazing later, some things about it, but you never glaze the bottom. That was in your 10 rules of ceramics. And the reason is glaze will stick to whatever touches. So if this goes in the kiln like that and there was glaze there, it'd be stuck to the kiln. The only way to get it out is to break it off. So that's why mine's clean there, but you can see it's like a little donut.
Donuts.
Anyway, it's like a little donut stuck onto there. So it's time to take a little piece of clay, and just like when you were making slip, we're gonna make a little coil. So you can do this between your hands like this. You could do it on a tabletop, or this actually does work with the board because it's still so small. I just want to roll out a skinny piece, think of like a worm. And there's that little worm I want. And so you just want to, do the thickness that you think was going to work. So this is pretty thin. If I compare that with what I have here, it's a little thicker depending on how I hold it. So if I want it to be a thinner foot, then just keep rolling it out until it's pretty. So it's like it's about the thickness of a pencil right now. And so it's like that rubber pencil trick that you can do, like, oh, look, it looks like it's rubber. I'm going to test it out and just see what it's like to just bring this around and put it on now. And so I'm just going here. Maybe I want it about like that. Okay, that's pretty good. And so I'm going to cut it off right there. So I'm just going to put a little mark with my nail. I'm going to get to where I can put this, get the cutout. And there's my piece. So I am going to go ahead and make that little mini donut first. You want to put the little grooves in your clay first. It gives the slip something to grab onto. Now, if your slip has gotten really pasty, like really thick, it's going to be nice to have it a little bit more liquid. And so mine is very pasty. So after I'm done with this, I'm going to add a little bit of water to it, maybe stir it up a little bit and leave it in there so that next time you use it, it's a little less thick. It'll be a little bit runnier. This will work, but I like having a little bit runnier personally. And so I'm going to get this to join together. Once they're together, boom. Then with that process, you just wrote down in your notes, score, slip, and seal. I'm going to seal it by rubbing away the extra stuff. In this case, no tool, just using my fingers to rub it in so that you no longer see where they join together. If I can see where they join together, I'm not done. I want to make it so it looks like one piece of clay, like an endless circle that never began anywhere. It's just there. And so there it is. So now I'm ready to put that on. And so I just kind of eyeball it here and see if I like where it is. Now, sometimes it really helps to stand up. I don't know if you're the type of person that sits down when you do your clay. In the classroom, we have stools here. But honestly, when I work on my clay, I stand up most of the time. For right now, I can look straight down at it. I can see how it looks. If I'm happy with how that footer looks on there, great. I'm ready to score and slip that. Well, I can see how to score this. That's easy. All I got to do is just lay this down and take my little comb tool and just go across it a bunch of times. I can kind of do it all at once. I just did a bunch like that. I got most of it in one shot, and I could do it again the other way, and I got almost all of it too. Now, the tricky thing is you don't know where to score it on here because you're guessing. And so I could use some different tools. Like you have the tool that has a bobby pin on an end, and it's a wooden stick on the other end. I could put this right where I want it, and I could just kind of like make a little line as close into the circle as possible. and then I'll know roughly where that should be. So I made a circle, and it kind of showed up enough that I can fill it in, and now I know where I need to score that. Now I got to think what's about to happen. This is going to be covering it up, but it's not going to be covering up the middle. So I don't probably want to use the comb. It's not very precise. So I'm just going to use drawing a bunch of lines in. And so putting all those score marks. So a little principle involved here about this scoring. Think about like the bottom of your shoe, and if you ever have a shoe that you wear down and the tread is all gone, and you find how slippery the shoe is on certain surfaces, think of it like that. You're going to give it some tread here, and then when the slip sits on the surface, it doesn't grab on as much, but when it gets down in those grooves, so once I put it on there and I get it in those grooves, then when it dries, it's grabbing onto more clay. And so that thing I showed you in my little science lesson about, wet paper towels, like clay together with clay, it looks like it's on there, but when it dries, it will fall off. Same thing if I put just slip on here, it'll stick pretty good, but if I score and slip it, when it's time to take this off, it's going to be extremely difficult because it really does stick on there. So I'm going to put some slip on here. So score and slip, score and slip. I always do both things and then put it on. Now, score and slip gets it on there, and then sealing is making it look better and also make it stronger. And right now it's pretty And so I don't think I can do too much with my finger right there because it's just a tiny little area sending here. I can't do too much with that. So then you start messing around with what you have available. I have, again, that wooden stick. Works really good if I do it lightly. If I do it hard, it's going to dig all the way through. But I can go along and I can kind of rub that in, and then I can go back to smoothing it out again. You might try some other things. You have some sort of a plastic tool. You might have some other wooden tools. All the kits aren't identical. There's some that might have the tools a little bit different because they give us some assortments, but generally similar. So I could try sealing with that. Again, I'm going to want to get it with my fingers too. And then the inside, same thing. I need to come at it and work my way around it until that's sealed and just looks better. It'll be stronger, all that stuff. So my goal is to get a foot on there that when I look at it from the side, seems like it's going to work, especially when I stand it up and I see how it looks. Now, I can tell mine is off a little bit. I can just see it already. It's like, whoa, that's some nice crookedness you got going on there. So I'm going to see if I can just do a little bit of pulling and bending until it finally seems like it's more centered. So yeah, I was standing up, but see, I'm down here. Hi. I want to see it from the side sometimes, and so I'm really turning and I'm moving while that slip is still loose and wet, able to see what I can do about changing things a little bit. So I'm going along, adjusting. Positioning and having that done. Then we need to let this dry for a little while before we add the design. We want to get to leather hard stage. So what I want to do is I'm going to put this somewhere it can dry out.